Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We unleash the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high. We have never been unwilling to pay that price. It does require, however, our best effort and our willingness to believe in ourselves and to believe in our capacity to perform great deeds, to believe that together, with God's help, we can and will resolve the problems which now confront us. We are Americans.
Complaining about how biased they are and go out and do their jobs.
Project Veritas has never lost a lawsuit. Not once we sued the New York Times for defamation. Project Veritas won.
It's about all of you. It's about the people of this country stepping up, rising up, and revealing what it is they are doing. It's up to you. Project Veritas will never fail.
We're going to start going on offense.
Journalists everywhere have to rise up. They can do it to me, they'll do it to anybody.
What a story this is turning out to be tonight.
The teacher's political statements and actions came under scrutiny because of a video recently produced by
Project Veritas. The video apparently shows a teacher
pushing politics on his students.
I have 180 days to turn them into revolutionaries. How do you do that? How do you scare the out of them?
Dozens of frustrated parents and community members showed up at a school board meeting demanding action from board members.
What has been exposed about Gabriel Guy by Project Veritas is exactly what I was concerned about happening.
I got this video this morning, and let me tell you, I'm not shocked.
The brave Project Veritas reporter who came to alert the school of child abuse that's happening.
We need to know what you're going to do to protect our rights and our children in the future.
He is putting her in harm's way. What the hell are y'all doing? He was allowed to change my daughter's mind about some fascist crap that y'all have let in this school.
The Natoma School District is now taking steps to fire the teacher,
making an official decision to fire him.
You cannot talk about this in public.
The government doesn't want to show that the darn vaccine is full of full of shit. Would you get them vaccinated?
I don't think they need it.
Honestly, I don't think a kid needs to get it.
Your antibodies are probably better at that point than the vaccination.
I'll get them vaccinated.
I didn't tell you.
Keep track of everyone that's been vaccinated.
There needs to be a registry of the people who aren't vaccinated. Think about it like the Jewish stuff.
A colleague at your hospital who got sick.
She didn't want to take it because of her religious beliefs, and she was coerced into taking it.
Jody O'Malley is the HHS whistleblower. This should be the #1 news story on the planet.
Explosive new video from Project Veritas.
Project Veritas recently released an interview with a whistleblower from Pfizer.
They're withholding knowledge on people's approval if they can consent or not.
Vanessa Gelman, Senior Director of Worldwide Research.
From the perspective of corporate affairs, we want to avoid having the information on the fetal cell lines floating out there.
The apparent theft of the president's daughter, Ashley Biden's diary. The New York Times reporting the FBI Saturday searched the home of James O'Keefe.
Imagine a pre-dawn raid, waking from a dead sleep in sheer terror to men with guns.
And there were 10 FBI agents with a battering ram.
Who uses a battering ram on the home of a journalist?
They turned me around, handcuffed me.
Even if a journalist acquires a piece of information and the person who gave it to them, the third-party person, got it illegally, the journalist has a right to publish it.
Would this be an FBI investigation if it weren't the daughter of the president?
I don't know. I don't know whether this would be an investigation or not if it didn't involve the president's children.
This is totally third world, and it's an attack on press freedom.
They are a news organization, and they should be treated as such.
And how about the ACLU finally stepping up? The FBI's raid on James O'Keefe is a threat to press freedom. Professor Dershowitz?
I'm glad they did it. I hope they continue to do it. It was the wrong thing to do, to raid.
The information from the raid leaks to the New York Times is being sued by Project Veritas.
We were getting a lot of briefings from CIA, from FBI about the spread of misinformation.
I get tired of life. What a world I'm living in. Now I've got it all. I've had enough. I'm giving in. The sun is shining, melting the clouds away. Got me some blue sky action. I'm breathing today. I know I'm burning. This is my final day. I'm gonna go out smiling. A king for a day. A king for a day.
I love this story. Watergate. Federal marshals have arrested a group of conservative activists in New Orleans, allegedly attempting to wiretap the offices of Senator Mary Landrieu.
Charges that carry up to a $250,000 fine and 10 years in prison.
James O'Keefe was the mastermind. The U.S. attorney says O'Keefe was recording with his cell phone.
His accomplices were dressed up as telephone repairmen.
But O'Keefe said he did not think he or his team did anything wrong.
This guy's getting all his investigative journalism ideas from porn movie plots.
Freeze! Hands up!
One guy grabbed my arms, yanked them behind my back, and handcuffed me.
Wipe that f***ing smirk off your face. You're in trouble, you know that, right?
We're just filmmakers, comedians. We're making a YouTube video. I tried to explain that I'd gone to the federal building to expose corruption, to uphold the law, not to break it. My motives were patriotic, I told him. His indifference was frustrating, unnerving. I knew the meaning of the word dread, but I had never experienced it before. Now I did. I could see how easy it was to break a prisoner. I was close. With my legs chained together, I could only shuffle. With each shuffle, the chain pulled painfully against my legs.
Take them over to the parish prison. See if they got any food. If they don't worry about it.
I was not a citizen journalist any longer. I was a prisoner, a nobody, like all the other nobodies sealed off from the world in the concrete caverns of a federal building in New Orleans.
What y'all in for?
We're journalists.
Journalists? What on earth they got you on?
I have no idea. I haven't been charged with anything yet.
You haven't been charged? I ain't never seen nothing like this before.
Do you have anything to say about the charges against you? Why were you in Senator Landrieu's office?
Truth shall set me free.
O'Keefe there saying, quote, "The truth shall set me free."
Who's paying for the legal services?
I have no idea at this point.
You don't know who's paying you?
I have no idea. I haven't been paid a penny. As a matter of fact, I gave one of them $60 so he could take a cab. So I'm out of pocket $60 on this if you know somebody who wants to pay me.
We don't try cases in the press, U.S. Attorney Jan Mann said at the time about my case.
You did commit a crime, correct?
Didn't you break the law?
Who funds you? Sir, are you paid? Don't go there.
But while she was spinning, her colleague Sal Perricone was anonymously blogging at a Times-Picayune newspaper website. Sure, O'Keefe should be punished. Throw the book at them.
James O'Keefe says he has proof of corruption in the U.S. Attorney General's office. He says the prosecutors who worked his case made improper comments online about him during his trial.
Effective next Tuesday, my resignation as United States Attorney for the Eastern District of Louisiana will take place.
Sal Perricone, one of Jim Letton's top lieutenants, admitted to posting online rants under an alias about open investigations and criminal suspects.
O'Keefe says he's filing complaints against them to try and get them disbarred.
Both Jan Mann and Sal Perricone have resigned from practicing law in the Eastern District Federal Court.
The judge referring to him and his co-defendants today as, quote, journalists.
You resigned in disgrace. You resigned in disgrace, sir.
You're a nasty little cowardly spud. All of you. You're hobbits. You are scum.
One other point your critics make is they say that you're animated by resentment over race.
That has been absolutely debunked. They had to issue retractions. And the type of journalism that we do is to counter the false narratives and the slurs that happen like that. Use journalism as a platform to slur James O'Keefe.
On the darkest day of my life to that point, I found myself in a pew at St. Gabriel the Archangel Church in Saddle River, New Jersey. 26 years old, living at home, stuck in Jersey, mired in debt, abandoned by my allies, estranged from my friends, unable to sleep, unwilling to eat, my career in tatters, crushed by the weight of it all, and praying not for a miracle, but just some relief. Felon, terrorist, white supremacist, racist, pervert. Was this really worth it? I knew that I too had to surrender to God. If I did so, I could withstand the powerful forces aligned, fairly or not, against the citizen journals. I asked myself whether I could justify taking the risks anymore, whether I could endure the lies of my enemies and the defamation of the machine. But I knew then that as long as I had my family and my faith, I was going to be okay. I immediately felt renewed. British writer Freya India sagely describes suffering as a requisite for growth. It compels self-reflection, transformation, and transcendence. It precedes our resurrection, dragging us down before reviving us as wiser, more lucid versions of ourselves.
Not Bin Laden, James O'Keefe.
A recent trip by investigative reporter James O'Keefe. This video has caught a lot of attention online.
Filmmaker James O'Keefe donning an Osama bin Laden mask.
Wading across the Rio Grande to show how easy it is to evade border security.
Sheriff West and his deputies and their F-150s escorted me to a godforsaken spot 60 miles southeast of El Paso. Never less than poker-faced, the good sheriff said no more than he had to. As tough as he was, West had a healthy fear of the border country. The positioning of his deputy sheriff said as much. Lean and eagle-eyed, his denim shirt blowing in the wind, a cigarette dangling from his lip. West did not carry a rifle. He relied on a .45 revolver strapped to a brown waist belt sheltered by his ample belly. You know why I carry a .45 caliber handgun, he asked? Because they don't make anything bigger.
It's interesting because an American reporter named James O'Keefe, dressed as Osama bin Laden, walked across the border of the Rio Grande River undetected. Does something like that concern you?
Actually, sir, he was not undetected. He was known to the border security agencies who saw him.
Then why didn't they stop him when he came across?
Sir, I can't answer that question.
No, you can't answer it because they weren't there to stop him.
On December 3rd, 2014, I flew into JFK Airport, New York, from overseas. Upon disembarking, I casually followed the crowd to the passport control area and inserted my passport into the device that verifies it. To my surprise, there was an X straight through all my information. Am I being detained, I asked?
James, I need to see your passport. Give me your bags.
Sir, can I ask what this is about? Sensing some crazy and possibly illegal behavior from these agents, I slid my hand into my pocket and attempted to turn on the video option of my iPhone. He saw me do it.
If you touch that f***ing phone, I will have you arrested.
Once again, I had a large X stamped on my passport document. This agent asked if I had ever passed the border before in disguise.
You're like a shock reporter? You basically go to the extremes to prove a point?
Seattle was deja vu all over again. This is the 6th straight time I've been asked to be inspected, I told the Customs and Border Patrol agent. The questions grew progressively more intrusive. I asked whether these reoccurring detentions were a form of retaliation.
No, we're not retaliating against you. Why would you say that?
Did you make the news for the whole, southern border stuff?
Yeah, I did, I answered matter-of-factly. We do YouTube videos and expose stuff like that. Is that why they keep stopping me?
No. It's a free country.
But as I leaned over to accept my passport, I stole a glance at his computer. The words that caused the agents to tense up when they read them. Subject is an amateur reporter engaged in publicity stunts, including unlawfully entering the United States dressed like an ISIS terrorist and crossing the Rio Grande dressed like Osama bin Laden.
But I don't feel like dancing when the old in a place. My heart could take a chance, but my 2 feet can't find a way. You think that I could muster up a little soft shoe and sway? But I don't feel like dancing, no, so no dancing today. Don't feel like dancing, even if I find nothing better to do. Don't feel like dancing, we can tell when I'm not in the mood.
To be a whistleblower is to step outside the great chain of being, to join not just another religion, but another world. Sometimes this other world is called the margins of society. but to the whistleblower, it feels like outer space. By far, the question the muckraker hears most is also the most critical question: what can I do? To that question, there is now a more challenging answer. You can wear a hidden camera and blow the whistle on a deserving employer through Project Veritas.
This isn't something I wanted to do. This is something I felt I had to do. This is a hill worth dying on.
Are you afraid?
I wouldn't necessarily say I'm afraid, because my faith lies in God and not man.
Jody, come on out! Jody! Come on out, Jody! Jody, HHS whistleblower! Come on, Jody! David Johnson, Hasbro whistleblower! Come on out, David! Come on, David!
The unsung hero, the teacher, the nurse, the mother, the honest cop, the hard worker at lonely, underpaid, unglamorous, unpublicized jobs. So 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, and 4 becomes 8. The same experiences that tortured you engender trust with those who come to you.
We are supposed to be the people that bring light to corruption.
Because I noticed that I was in a very unique position in space and time to just do something to protect the Republic.
Kerry Ford, CNN whistleblower, come on out! Come on, Kerry! April Moss, CBS News, blew the whistle on CBS News. Come on, April!
And suddenly there are 100 and more muckrakers and whistleblowers manifest. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. These brave souls are the fuel that has given me hope. We may die doing what we do, or lose our livelihoods for the noble fight. For that is all we could ask for, to die on our feet,
rather than live on our knees. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Project Veritas, ProjectVeritasExperience.com. We're having a huge party and doing the full Project Veritas Experience January 29th in Miami. ProjectVeritasExperience.com. Thank you.
Not another free speech video. Take 1, Mark.
For a generation of Americans to now believe that free speech and open discourse is evil is absolutely heartbreaking. For many generations, that was often the only way that disenfranchised groups throughout history had at their disposal to convince the public of the rightness of their cause. This isn't just another free speech video, because we're not just another free speech group. We're speech first, and we're the ones who are actually holding schools accountable when they violate students' First Amendment rights. It's terrifying for a student to want to take on their school when their rights are violated. We want it to be something that really bridges the gap between what students feel on campus and what they need. In the court of law, in the court of public opinion, they don't have to fight these battles alone. We can sue universities on behalf of students. And you could say our approach has been pretty successful. We've kind of been killing it. Like when we did this. And this. You're not supposed to be treated differently to start with, guys. Like, this is not okay. I am here to do the intervention and say, like, this is not all right. So why am I telling you this? Because we are building a nationwide network of people who are fighting the forces of speech silencers. Speech First sends a message to students that we'll stand with you every step of the way, and we want to give them the tools and the knowledge they need to fight back against injustice on campus. So this isn't just another free speech video, because we're not just another free speech group. We're kind of the GOAT. Go on, fact check me.
is un-American.
The children are the future.
Who do you think you are? That's not your house. That's the people's house.
We are in a spiritual battle for the survival of the Republic as our founding fathers envisioned it. America remains the greatest nation the world has ever seen. It is up to us to maintain it.
This is the greatest nation on God's earth. If you give up on this, the greatest experiment in democracy, you don't deserve to call yourself an American.
What an incredible sight. God bless you, America. It feels so good just to be here. All right, guys, this is something a little bit different. I know a lot of you from all the Turning Point events that Charlie and his amazing team have done over the years, but today is something special. And we've been waiting for this for a very, very long time. Charlie's organization, Turning Point USA, is the most important organization taking America back one campus, one school at a time. However, whilst you young ones are the future, we need all patriots to be engaged. So AmericaFest is the first of what I hope will be many events that gets everybody who bleeds American blood, who loves this country, to stand up and take it back. And to see 10,000 of you here, I'm just speechless, which is bad for a radio show host. Okay, so for you who don't know who I am, can I tell you a little story? I'm going to tell you a little story and then tell you why I walked on stage with this FedEx envelope. I don't usually do product placement, but what's inside it and what arrived at my house on Saturday, you need to hear about it. And I haven't told anybody. It's not good. So, as you can tell from my deep Alabamian accent, I was not born here. I chose America. Not only did I choose the greatest nation on God's earth, I am a legal immigrant. I didn't get smuggled across the border. I didn't swim across a river. I didn't pay coyotes. I came here legally because I respect America. And I've spent 13 years in this nation. I've served this nation. I became an American citizen 9 years ago. And living, thank you, living what for me was unimaginable, to literally live the American dream, happened to me. January 21st, 2017, at 8 a.m., the day after the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump, it was a Saturday morning, everybody else was hungover. I don't drink, so I said, hey, it may be Saturday, but I'm now Deputy Assistant to the President. Let's go to work. And I'm walking around the West Wing as a legal immigrant. That's America. That's Donald Trump. An amazing privilege, doesn't get any better than that. So, I've served this nation multiple times. I spent 5.5 years in the Defense Department. I was a professor of counterterrorism. When I did that, I swore an oath of office to become a DoD civilian. I did it the same day I was sworn in as Deputy Assistant for Strategy to the President. So what happened to me on Sunday or on Saturday afternoon really hurts. And it's got me pissed. I arrived home with my family, and this is on my doorstep. I didn't even sign for it. This is how amateurish these people are. And I looked at it, and it's addressed to me, and it says, from the sender, Verizon Security Subpoena Compliance Department. Verizon Subpoena Security Compliance Department. And I think I have an idea what this is. So I open it. There's one page from Verizon, and then there's multiple pages from the US Congress. Verizon says the committee investigating January the 6th has requested my phone records, and I have 15 days to get a judge to stop them. Why did they do that? Why does Congress want a legal immigrant who was Deputy Assistant to the President to have his text messages, his phone calls, and I mean everything. I mean everything. Let me just read to you what this illegal committee is having access granted to it. And think about this for your phone and your family. They will have access to the telephone and instrument numbers of every phone on my account, which means my wife, which means my children, including, this is from Congress, MAC addresses, electronic serial numbers, mobile equipment identifiers, subscriber identity modules, SIM cards, mobile subscriber identifiers, on and on. 7 pages of my rights being negated. Why? Forget the fact that the committee is illegal, because you're not allowed to investigate anything unless it has a legislative purpose. The Constitution is clear. There is no legislative purpose to Nancy's witch hunt. And secondly, you cannot have an investigatory committee of Congress without both parties designating members. Both. Not fake conservatives, not pro-impeachment rhinos like Kinzinger and Cheney, not disgraces to the oath of office they took, but people designated by their party leadership. Kevin McCarthy's nominees were rejected, which means this committee is illegal. But not only that, and I will be posting these documents online, Nancy, because I ain't afraid of you. No crime is mentioned. What am I accused of doing? Because I was meant to be speaking on the same day at the Supreme Court, but didn't because the president's speech went too long? That's my crime in America, speaking? There is no crime. And I'm going to tell you something, Adam Schiff. I'm going to tell you, Nancy. You chose the wrong enemy. We are not afraid. And I'll tell you why I'm not afraid, and I hope this is fuel for you. Because my life changed when I was a very young boy. Some of you have heard this story. Most of you probably hadn't. My father was an athlete all his life, an amazing physical specimen of a man. He was on the national crew team, and then after 2 years in a prison coal mine run by the communists, there was nothing that could stop this man. I was playing on the beach, age 8, on vacation. My dad, who loved the ocean, came out of the waves, walked up to me, and I looked at my dad, and I saw something that puzzled me that I hadn't noticed before. I saw these white lines on his wrists that I hadn't noticed earlier, and he was too young to be wrinkled. So like a silly young child, I said, "Hey, Dad, what's that?" Without skipping a beat, with no emotion, he looked at me and he said, "Son, that's where the secret police bound my wrists together with wire behind my back so they could hang me from the ceiling of the torture chamber." That's when my life changed forever. That's when I realized evil is real. Evil exists in the heart of man who is fallen. And evil will win unless we stop it. So Nancy Pelosi, the radicalized Democrats, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer, AOC, you are on notice. You chose the wrong enemy. Because I declare right now, bring it. So here's my message. We love you too. Thank you. We got to have everybody's back. So here's my message to you. That document on that envelope that I'm going to release is your final piece of evidence. We are no longer in a political fight. This isn't about Democrats or Republicans. This is about taking back our Constitution. Right now, I'm going to go after I take some questions. I'm going to show you an amazing new platform, and then I'm going to go from here to my buddies at Patriot Mobile and say, "Goodbye, Verizon. Goodbye." And so should you. But my message is this. If not now, when? My parents escaped a communist dictatorship. But we, if we lose America, have nowhere to run. It is up to us. It is up to you. We will not be intimidated, and we will win. Why? And I'll end on this, and I'll take some questions. I say this every day on my radio show, America First. We will win because their fuel is hatred, and hatred will destroy you. Our fuel is love. Love of country. Love of the greatest nation on God's earth. And that is why we will win. All right. Before I show you this new platform we want to share with you called Freedom Square, we've got a few minutes. So who wants to ask the first question?
Right here.
Over there.
The Second Amendment is designed to basically retaliate against the government whenever they go tyrannical. And my question is, when do we draw that line where we overstep and say no more and take it back?
Yeah, the Second Amendment has nothing to do with whitetails or deer season. Let's be very clear. It's not even about defending your home, which of course you have a right to. The Second Amendment is the final guarantee of your freedom, period. And people ask me, so when's the Civil War going to start? When's it going to start? And I say, slow down. Slow down. Because God preserve us from another civil war. More people died in that war than every other war we fought combined, including Vietnam and World War II. 600,000 Americans killed by their fellow Americans. We don't want that again. But I tell you something. If somebody tries to take our liberty, I'm not afraid of the people who are afraid of guns. Next question. Over there.
Hi, my name is Stephanie, and communism is being pushed on our college campuses, and many students believe that communism is all like love and happy, and they don't understand what it is. And when we try to explain it, they ignore us. And so I was just wondering what you advise us to do to really help students understand the reality of communism.
I found, so this is the biggest weakness we have on the right, is that we have the truth, and we think the truth is enough. We think, hey, read this book, look at this PowerPoint, I've won the debate, right? Now, God bless Ben Shapiro, but he's wrong on one thing. When he says, facts don't care about your feelings, okay, but feelings matter, Ben. And that's how the left wins. Because their arguments are garbage, okay? There's no truth there, but they say, hey, wouldn't you like to be nice? You know, puppies are nice. Vote Democrat, right? Puppies are nice. So what we need to do, like Ronald Reagan, like my old boss Donald Trump did, is use the truth but connect emotionally. So what we do is we talk about the real stories. Don't say, hey, read this book on Stalin. No, talk to this woman who escaped China yesterday. Listen to this person who, I'm not joking now, young man who surfboarded on, windsurfed over shark-infested waters to come here from Cuba. Don't listen to me, I was born here. Listen to those who risked everything to come here. Share real stories. Go to Young Americans Against Socialism website, Morgan Zegers. Go to the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation. They are cataloging interviews with survivors of communism. Share that and just plant seeds. Great question. Next.
Dr. Gorka, as your right to privacy has been violated with this subpoena request, do you support abolishing the NSA and stopping them from collecting massive amounts of information from all Americans?
So I don't support abolishing things. I want to fix them. You know, Assange is not a hero. I'm sorry. Because Assange built WikiLeaks on the concept that nothing should be classified. Oh, really? So you want to give our nuclear launch codes to China? Stop smoking crack, okay? All right? What we need is an intelligence community that isn't corrupt. What we have in America is a fatally corrupt... before I joined the White House, I traveled 20,000 miles a month teaching the FBI and the military how to understand ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And when I go from FBI field office to FBI field office, I'd meet the supervisory special agent, I'd get the challenge coin, they'd give me the pin, and I'd wear it with pride. Right now, if the FBI knocked on my door, I'd say, go talk to my lawyer, Joe DeGenoa. Because they are corrupt. We've had one whistleblower in 5 years from the FBI's tens of thousands of agents and IAs to stop and say, this is wrong. Roger Stone, what, a guy in his 70s has rousted at 6 a.m. with guys with automatic weapons, with helicopters? Are you kidding me? If I were that FBI agent, I hope I would have the gall to say, excuse me, sir, here is my badge, here is my gun. That's what we have to do. We have to dismantle and rebuild. And what the NSA is doing with all of your data is utterly illegal, and unconstitutional. Last question.
Hi. What was the turning point that made you immigrate to the U.S.?
Nice. What was the turning point? My wife and I were living in post-communist Hungary with our little kids, and we woke up one morning after having lived there for 15 years trying to help the nation of my parents rejoin the West, and we realized, literally woke up one morning and said, 50 years of communism just kills a nation. It's going to take another 100 years maybe to fix it. And I've been doing work with the Defense Department out of Germany for several years, and I just wanted to support the US military, and I wanted to live in the greatest nation on God's earth. That's why. All right, guys, so in the battle for our freedom, they're trying to suppress free voices. They're trying to control what you're allowed to read and hear. So we have a response. I stand here now, not only as former deputy to President Trump, not only as a TV and radio host, but as the new chief ambassador for an incredible platform we are launching now. Listen to this.
What up, AmericaFest? It's John Root. You know, Turning Point USA wouldn't be where it's at today if it wasn't for your incredible support. Whether you're the boots on the ground at woke schools or standing up to cancel culture online, there's always a way to show your support. You can take our mission to the next level today by going to tpusa.com/donate. Because of you, we can put on parties like this, fight woke culture, and conserve American values for the future. What are you waiting for? Donate today.
What up, cute conservatives and dude conservatives? I'm Alex Clark, host of Politics and The Spillover. I am so excited to be here with all of you today. Look, what Turning Point does for campuses around the country is so important, and it's only getting bigger. Here's some conservative. Coming January 2022, we are taking education to the next level with Turning Point Academy. This is major. Get your phone out right now and text Get Involved, all one word, to 7-1776 and get all the details on how you can join the fight. Again, text Get Involved, all one word, to 7-1776 to join the fight.
You have to ask the question, how is the most heavily funded tribe have the poorest population?
Listen to me. My country's very because everything problem here. Don't have petroleum for bus and Cuban, for car, for life, for nothing.
And it sucks. Socialism sucks. There's no other way you can describe it.
Hello, AmericaFest. This is Jack Posobiec once again, the host of Human Events Daily here on the Turning Point Live Network. Now, one of the main questions that I get every day is, Jack, how do I get involved? I want to be part of this fight for Western civilization, this fight for traditional values. What do I do? Well, the first thing I say is, are you married? The second thing I say is, are you going to the gym? But the third thing I say is, once you've done all of that and you still want to do more politically, it's simple. You've got to get involved with Turning Point USA. This is the organization that is leading the fight, leading the charge against the woke social justice left that is trying to take over our country. So what do? If you want to get involved, we actually have set up a brand new text message for this. You text Get Involved, all one word, to 7-1776. Get involved, all one word, to 7-1776, and a member of our team will reach out today. I'll see you out there.
How much does the earth cost?
We keep it, but we put it on our feed as private. Only my managers and producers can access it. What happens? 2 months later, YouTube unleashes their little fascists, their little Nazis, the backroom dictators, and they say, your account has been terminated because of this video, which was private. A private YouTube video. If they can do that to me, if they can think of this, this blows my mind. This is the other thing I haven't even mentioned about Freedom Square. General Mike Flynn, my friend, my former colleague. Yes, let's recognize Mike Flynn. He had, his wife had her credit card canceled because she's married to Mike Flynn. This could happen to every single one of you out there. Every single one of them. So, what we're doing at Freedom Square, and this is genius, especially when you think of the threat of China. We're building a business directory for Patriots. If you have a company, if you have a product, you don't want to kowtow to foreign interests, you don't want to give in to the diktats of China like Nike does and LeBron, kneeling at the altar of a slave labor dictatorship. You can go on to the business directory, register your company, and guess what? Not only will there be a business directory of American patriots, you as a consumer can shop American. What a crazy idea! What a crazy idea. So, everybody, it's free. Join today, freedomsquare.com. Build your dashboard, and let's take America back. One last thing. Let me give you a piece of advice. Rush Limbaugh taught us so many things. Perhaps the most important thing he taught us, and it's a little clip not long before he passed that I use on my show regularly. Check it out, America First. Check out my new locals page, gorka.locals.com. He taught us one thing that is above all else the most important. So, A, we've already won because we've already won. Thanks to our Lord and Savior, we've won. But here on earth, Rush taught us the most important thing as Americans. We never despair. Despair is un-American. We never give up. We never give in. I live in the Commonwealth, and I had him on my show. I was a little bit worried about him, but let me be very clear about what happened in Virginia. Glenn Youngkin did not win. Just calm down. But thank you. Glenn Youngkin did not win. Stacey Langton won. Chantel Cooper won. The teacher who escaped Soviet Russia, Miss Venezian, won. Why? Because they stood up to the little fascists at the school boards. They said, "You are not putting masks on my children." It blows my mind. I walk my dogs every morning and I see parents in the playground with little kids, 3, 4-year-olds, with masks on. And one day, I swear, it's hard to stop myself. I'm going to say, "Excuse me, miss. Excuse me, sir. Can you tell me what the death rate for children is from COVID? Could you tell me?" And I bet they think, "Oh, 50%. Or 20%. And when I say it's 0.05. 0.05. We have Americans taking back our country one school board at a time. And that is what everybody here has to do. If you ever call into my show and say, oh, that's it, I'm not voting again, they're going to steal it. Oh, really? What have you done about it? What have you done about it? Have you volunteered, like my wife, to be an election official? Did they steal it in Virginia? No. We took back Virginia. So, the most important thing you can do as you leave here today is remember this. We will win. We never give up. And you, and I'm talking to every single one of you great patriots, never, ever censor yourself. When you feel that, I better not say that, don't.
basis every day is I take the meaning culture world, the meaning world, and you apply that to politics. Fathers, stay in the home, provide for your children. You will save America by doing so. They would rather oppose Trump than have you know the truth, even if it costs you your life.
Ours is a movement of actual happiness.
Mothers are running for school board. Fathers are running for city council. Students are speaking at their own school board meetings. Regular Americans are fighting for the future of their country.
Our sheep-like corporate media have failed us. They do not tell the truth. They do not bring you useful information about America. They certainly do not hold the powerful accountable.
You are an American. You are blessed. You are part of the heritage of the greatest country the world has ever known.
I've never been able to dance. And now I have a 1-year-old and another on the way so I can finally do my dad moves. I got dad energy. Dad, energy. My energy comes from you. God bless all of you for being here. Isn't it awesome to be in a free place around other patriots? Stop it! Stop it! That's my dad. I paid him to say that. I gave him 1 Dogecoin. Ladies and gentlemen, Merry Christmas! How great is it to have Christmas, the birth of Christ? We are so blessed. Jesus is my hero. Oh, mine. That's my other hero. The birth of Christ is very important. The birth of my daughter was very important for me 1 year ago. This is Eloise. You may or may not know, but Eloise, incredibly smart kid. And parents say that a lot. They're like, my kid's very smart. Any parents out there? Raise your hand to your parent. God bless you. This scares the libs so much. Libs are sitting alone in an apartment right now with some hairless cat eating Uber Eats right? Like, libs don't want to procreate. They're not attractive. They're not sexy. Conservatives are sexy. We are dripping. We are total smoke shows. We know how to dress. There's a guy right here wearing a brick suit. His name's Brick Suit. There's a man in a Ron DeSantis shirt. Ron DeSantis' face is all over it. We know how to dress. My boy in the cowboy hat, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, we are the sexy, happy parents of America, and we're creating the next generation of freedom. And our kids, ladies and gentlemen, our kids are so smart. Our kids are smart. Watch my kid. That was when Eloise was 9 months old, and she's already smarter than Dr. Fauci. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a tradition in my household. Every morning, I wake up, Nurse Kate and I go get our baby, we walk downstairs, and we watch Tucker Carlson.
Every morning while we're making breakfast, the coffee's going right now, heating up the pan, we play Tucker Carlson's night before episode, and this is the response that my daughter gives.
She watches Tucker Carlson every single morning. Who was here for Tucker? Who watched Tucker speak? This is how we take back culture. We raise great children. We have beautiful families. We love our spouses. We say no to the trash that culture tries to feed us to give us destroyed, sad lives. Socially distanced, stay home, stay safe. They want to rob you of the joy and the pursuit of happiness is in our DNA. It is our birthright as Americans. Screw these authoritarian tyrants. Let's make better heroes. So what makes a good hero? I was thinking about this because I got a kid. If you have a kid, you realize you're totally in control of their life. You are like 100% in charge of Eloise's life. It's not the government. It's not little Dr. Fauci going to come out of the closet somewhere and raise my kid. No, it's me. And so it's important what you feed your children, what you feed them physically, what you feed them spiritually, what you feed them mentally. And so I thought, what is a good hero? What are good stories? What stories should we be telling our child? We let her watch Tucker every morning. But we're a little nervous. And so I got to thinking, how was I raised? Y'all ain't ready for this. I am going to deconstruct your childhood. I am going to prove to you that the best stories, the stories that you love the very most, are actually extremely right-wing, and that we have the best stories, and even the left who runs Hollywood, the godless left, knows it. And that's why they take our stories and use them, and you have been living that, and you have been fed that your entire life. You probably didn't even know it, and it's going to encourage you. I hope it does. The first thing that came to mind when I was thinking through a good story is I realized that our heroes would suck if they were libs. If your hero in your favorite story, whether that be a cartoon or whether that be Ninja Turtles, it would suck if the hero in that story was a modern-day, whiny, sad, miserable, entitled, spoiled, pretentious, conformist, leftist. I can prove it. Example 1. You can sing it. Here we go. Have you seen The Lion King? Ladies and gentlemen, you are getting red-pilled by Disney and you didn't even know it. Watch. Here we go. First off, let's start with Pride Rock. Pride Rock, an apex, a cathedral almost, a church-like place, right? A spiritual place. Pride Rock, what does this represent? Pride Rock is about checks and balances, balance in nature. It's about respect of tradition. You saw the Rafiki, right? Comes up. He represents religion, stability and abundance. Everyone's happy. It's a beautiful place. All the animals are living in happy and harmony because there is a structure that is in place that gives people personhood and dignity. Pride Rock is Florida. There are no mandates. There's no authoritarianism. And there's this beautiful scene, actually, where Simba asks his dad about it. You probably remember this scene.
Want a big kingdom getting your way all the time?
There's more?
Simba. Everything you see exists together in a delicate balance. As king, you need to understand that balance and respect all the creatures, from the crawling ant to the leaping antelope.
Dad, don't we eat the antelope?
Yes, Simba, but let me explain. When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass. And so, we are all connected in the great circle of life.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see here. Like, that sounds a lot like equal opportunity, the opportunity to live and have dignity, and the opportunity to understand that we're all connected. Kind of sounds like a free market economy right there, actually. Quite frankly, everyone gets to eat. Huh? Contrast that. This was shocking going back and rewatching Lion King. Look at this scene. The hyenas are marching like fascists. This is a Disney movie made not too long ago. The hyenas are doing the fascist march. You see this in North Korea. You see this in modern-day China. You saw this in Nazi Germany, Mussolini's Italy. They're doing the fascistic march. Look at them. They're goose-stepping. Scar and his reign represents authoritarian fascism. Scar is a commie. He's a despot. Authoritarian fascism. Persecution of tradition. Remember how the Rafiki, right, had to live like banished, alone? He said no religion here. The first thing that Karl Marx said we must do is get rid of private property, the ability for people to be bountiful and plentiful, and the church. It's the first thing Scar did. Scarcity and pain, because if nobody has anything, then you can really control them, right? Look at how desolate it now looks. And censorship. Remember, you can't say Mufasa. Mufasa. You can't say it. It's censored, all right? You get deplatformed in Scar's Pride Rock, right? If you're Carpe Donkum down here and he tweets Mufasa, Scar bans him, right? You get censorship. This is authoritarianism. Forced conformity. Nothing is better than this scene when it comes to the cruelty of authoritarian fascism. And this is Disney telling us, warning us, that we don't want a government like this.
We have only one choice. We must leave Pride Rock.
We're not going anywhere.
Then you have sentenced us to death.
Then so be it.
You can't do that.
I am a king. I can do whatever I want.
If you were half the king Mufasa was, you
I'm 10 times the king Mufasa was.
It's terrifying, right? What a monster. I can do whatever I want. I'm the king. I can do whatever I want. Do as I say. It doesn't matter if I kill everyone. It doesn't matter if your lives are pain. Does that sound familiar?
I am a king. I can do whatever I want.
Wait. Hold on. Listen closely. Shh, quiet.
I am a king. I can do whatever I want.
Lock him up. Well, at the end of the line, maybe we could have like a DeSantis, Dr. Fauci, like fight on Pride Rock, right? Yeah? Okay. Who's for that? Let's end it like the Lion King. All right. So what's Simba's story? Simba, the hero's arc, ladies and gentlemen. Simba is a freedom fighter. Simba is a hero for all of you. Simba lives a life the way that the kids in this room want to live life. Think about it. Rugged individualism, personal responsibility, right? He went and smoked a bunch of weed with Timon and Pumbaa. That's fine. He was in college. It's no big deal. He was experimenting. Defended tradition. He overcame fascism and he restored order. The beautiful scene at the end, he restores order. He makes a family. That's awesome. Simba is a right-wing hero. Now, what would happen if it was Lib Simba? Lib Simba Lib Simba would love Apple. He would love Google. He would love the CDC. He would conform to authority. He'd be lazy and entitled. He'd be a single loser. He would stay smoking weed with Timon and Pumbaa day and night in the jungle. And Nala would be like, don't you want to claim your birthright? He'd be like, stay home, stay safe. Simba out. What a loser. Lib Simba sucks. Do we like Lib Simba or do we want red-pilled Simba? Yeah. All right. Did that work? Did that metaphor work? Yeah? I asked some libs. I showed this to some libs and I said, what, does this work? Simba's right wing, right? And they said this.
You guys! I'm driving your car!
So, what about Benny? Benny, my boy Benny. You just took one Disney movie. That's fine. What about Star Wars? Be cool at all if he was a lib? Let's find out. So Luke Skywalker, much like Simba, it's the hero's journey, right? He has to overcome adversity. He has to learn something new. He comes from nothing. He was a moisture farmer. Am I wrong? He's a moisture farmer, right? The Luke Skywalker hero arc. Well, what do you know? Rugged individualism, personal responsibility, defending tradition, overcoming fascism, and he restores order, and he restores his family. He loves his family a lot. And who is Luke fighting? Dude, he's fighting authoritarian fascism. That is what the Empire represents. Am I wrong? Again, you have the iconography of, like, Nazi Germany, essentially. The Empire is, by its very definition, a fascist state, an authoritarian state that persecutes tradition, right? They hunt down the Jedi. They hunt down the religious, right? The religious sect of society. They provide scarcity and pain. Everyone must be forced conformity and censorship. Who does that sound like? Sounds like modern day libs, is what it sounds like. Stay home, stay safe. Said through a Darth Vader mask. Nothing better demonstrates the power and the enormity of the establishment and the established empire than the first scene in Star Wars. And they did this on purpose. If you go back and look, the first scene is the first imagery in Star Wars you can see. the power of the empire, the power of conformity and the authoritarian fascist regime. There's the rebels. That's Turning Point. That's Turning Point. And that's corporate media. Look at the size difference, right? Like you can see it. This is, you know, you can see it. And actually, if you zoom in really close on the, they re-released these. If you zoom in really close and you freeze frame it for a second, you can actually see at the end of the Star Destroyer there, you can see some of the, what powers the authoritarian conformists. You have to zoom in. Yeah. Oh, man. They're going to listen to my phone calls so bad after this. So, okay, what happens when you get Lib Skywalker? Lib Skywalker sucks, guys. Like, Lib Skywalker, no fun. Lib Skywalker, he stays a moisture farmer, or worse yet, he joins Darth Vader. It's cool to be powerful, right? Who cares if he's destroying the Earth, or the galaxy for this matter? Luke Skywalker ignores tradition. He's a godless, entitled little brat, and he loves the conformity of the Empire. Hear me now. There is nothing cool about parroting the same opinions as the Empire. There is nothing cool when you have the exact same opinions as Nike, as Bank of America, as Citibank, as Joe Biden. There's nothing punk rock about Joe Biden. There is nothing cool about being on the same side as Apple and Google. All right? That is conformity. It is conformist. And it kills our favorite heroes when they side with the Empire. Star Wars would have sucked with Luke Skywalker as a lib, and we actually got to find that out in some of the more recent remakes. This is liberal Luke Skywalker. The Last Jedi sucks, man. So I texted, I said, Alex Clark, I'm working on a concept here. What is like the cute conservative movie? I got two manly movies. And I'm like, Alex Clark, what is the cute conservative movie that I can use for my metaphor?
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
So fetch. What is fetch? Oh, it's like slang from England. So if you're from Africa, why are you white? Oh my God, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white. On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
Hey, get out of here.
Oh my God, Danny DeVito, I love your work.
Do you have anything pink?
Yes.
Okay, irregardless, ex-boyfriends are just off limits to friends. I mean, that's just like the rules of feminism.
So, Alex Clark told me to use Mean Girls. And we rewatched it. And it's pretty amazing how Regina George actually is literally the fascist authoritarianism. She represents fascism. She represents forced conformity. She represents power and control. She represents censorship. And when she doesn't get power, when power is taken from her, she loses her mind. And she attacks everyone else. She's like a classic fascist. She's like a classic authoritarian. Whereas, you have Katie here, who represents someone who actually bucks the fascists. She kind of joins her then. And then she makes her own path. She charts her own path against the fascist dictates of the, what are they called? The Mean Girl Squad? The Plastics. Yes. Mean Girl superfan over here is like, Plastics! Oh, I hate them. Don't let Alex Clark find you. So we don't have to worry, we don't have to wonder though, what like our hero would look like as a liberal in this story. Lindsay Lohan has done this already for us. Okay, so, moving on. It's Christmas, right? So Kevin.
Merry Christmas, little fella.
We know that you're in there and that you're all alone.
Yeah, come on, kid, open up. It's Santa Claus. And it's Elf.
We're not gonna hurt you.
No. Got some nice presents for you.
Be a good little fella now and open the door.
What? 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 What happened?
Hello. Yes! Yes!
Can you believe they made a movie about Kyle Rittenhouse? Harry and Marv are totally Rioters Antifa members. Totally. Sticky bandits. That's what we should call Antifa from now on. We'll probably piss them off. Guys, do you love Home Alone? It's the Christmas season. Do you love Home Alone? Look at this kid. It's iconic what Kevin did. Iconic. Okay, why is Kevin a hero? The Kevin hero arc? Rugged individualism, personal responsibility, home defense with a gun. He used fossil fuels to defeat the bad guys. He used fossil fuels to defeat Antifa BLM rioters. And he found peace in the church. If you rewatch Home Alone, you will see the beautiful Christian message, actually, of Home Alone. The peaceful imagery of the church. And actually, when there's a scene when Kevin's getting chased, and he runs into a church, and the bad guys are like, we can't go there. Right? We're not going to do that. Kevin is not a young man of the left. Kevin loves the Second Amendment. Kevin loves fossil fuels. Kevin loves his church. And Kevin is for stand your ground laws. Kevin knows that self-defense is a human right. And there's only one person that could actually truly scare someone with Kevin's worldview, with his guts, with his bravery, with people like us in our background. There's only one person that really strikes fear in all of us.
I said I'm not afraid anymore. Do you hear me? I'm not afraid anymore.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Got him! You want to see it again?
I said I'm not afraid anymore. Do you hear me? I'm not afraid anymore.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Uh-oh. Hey, guys, you got to plug in that Mac, I guess. That's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so lucky and so blessed to be working with such a great team. Sam's down here. Sam and I make a lot of videos for Turning Point USA. Sam's down here, Sam Gorski. The entire team Benny is here, and we're so thankful to be able to do this. This week, we're going to be releasing a brand new special on what Santa Claus would be like if he was Joe Biden. All right? So get ready to watch that. We are at our time, so unfortunately I cannot play it today. Sorry, Sam. But y'all, we're gonna like watch this space. You're gonna love it. Here's the deal. Can't. The ultimate hero story. We've got a Jesus chant going on. Yes. Let's go, Jesus. Merry Christmas. Happy birthday, Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, it's almost Christmas. You want to talk about a story of overcoming adversity? You want to talk about the real hero arc, the original hero arc. You want to talk about the man who did it all. The man who truly showed how to defeat authoritarian fascists. And that's who he was up against, right? In the spiritual realm and the physical realm. And the best part about these stories, the best part about this story, the story, is that we win. And so I just want to finish today. I want to finish today by just saying thank you to all of you, because you really encourage us. It's so wonderful to be in this movement together. My wife is backstage. Should we call her on stage? Hey, Nurse Kate. Hey, Nurse Kate. You want to say hi to these nice people?
Hi, everybody.
Hey, you. We live our values. We live our story. I love my wife.
He might love Eloise more, though.
I love my kid. I love my country. I love all of you. I love my Savior. And we live in the best damn country in the world. And this is the best movement in the world. And together, we're going to save America. We're going to complete our hero arc. We're going to be the Simba. We're going to be the Luke Skywalker. We're going to be the Kevin. I know you all have guns, probably bigger than BB guns. And we're going to defeat the destructive elements that want to wreck our house. Our proverbial house that they want to raid is our beautiful country, this amazing Christian nation that is our gift. And Jesus Christ is the ultimate gift on Christmas. And the best part about this story is, damn it, we win in the end. And it's so good to keep that in mind. So, remember to tell yourself that story. That's definitely the story we're going to be telling our little daughter. And number 2 on the way.
We'll find out soon if it's a boy or a girl. Christmas morning, we're going to open the envelope. So.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are at time. Merry Christmas. We love all of you. And can we do a video together? AmericaFest. Look at this. We love all of you. Merry Christmas. Let's go, Brandon.
Merry Christmas,
Let's go
everybody.
save America.
I represent, I believe, the American dream. Being able to give a couple $100 million away, according to the press. Only in America could someone with $800 of accumulated leave pay achieve this enormous blessing. I think that's what makes America so different, and that's why I love this place a lot. I'm Foster Freeze. Maybe you've heard of me. This is the Foster Freeze Only in America story. Well, it started out in a very humble way. I grew up in a small town in northern Wisconsin. The richest guy in town was the mobile gas operator and the undertaker. In high school, I was captain of the basketball team, the track team, the golf team, the baseball team, president of class, president of student council, valedictorian, all the things that are possible when you only have 16 kids in your class. Well, very rich in terms of the values that my mom and dad had. Well, I think some of the values that they taught me is first resilience. My grandfather said, hey, I'm going to starve before I take any welfare. And also hard work, the work ethic. My mom would put chickens in the freezer that we'd butcher in our basement, and corn that she'd make herself so she didn't have to buy store-bought food. We were so grateful for all the things we had, even though as we watched the world around us, we certainly weren't considered wealthy people by any standards. So I went into college from my high school career where I was bent on winning. And I remember sitting in school and seeing, you know, some of my friends' dads get killed in Korea. We all have to do our share. My original training was a stint at Fort Benning, Georgia, where I was trained to be an infantry platoon leader. It was hard work to learn how to do that and to be able to motivate men. And then after that, I went to Fort Bliss, Texas, where I was engaged as a intelligence officer for a guided missile brigade.
What did your military experience teach you?
How to bounce a quarter on a bed. I finally got very good at that. And it taught me also how you're responsible for other people's lives. And that when you go through the chow line, as a lieutenant, I was going to be the last guy that went through the chow line, just like in my Western life. You know, I make sure I take care of my horse before I have my evening meal, make sure he's watered and fed and curried. Coming out of the Army with $800 of accumulated leave pay, a 62 Volkswagen, a baby, and a hide-a-bed and an Admiral TV. And our beginnings were quite humble. Each one of us are a composition of the people that influence our lives, and none of us get to where we are by ourselves. Managing $15 billion is not a one-man job. Just through word of mouth, people loved our investment strategy where we didn't go after the well-known companies, but we tried to find sort of a rosebud, and then when it turned into a full-blown blossom and all the institutions wanted, we would sell it and then go back and buy other rosebuds. And also, I believe the fact God has given me a gift to how to pick people. And the people we selected were absolute champions. People sometimes accuse me of being generous, and my first response is, hey, guys, this ain't my money. It's the Lord's money. And if it was mine, you wouldn't be getting one red dead cent. In the biblical sense, we've been set free to serve. And so let's go out and do that. I love the exhortation that we get by reading the Bible. It says we are designed to be a channel of God's love to others, to be his hands and feet in a hurting world, and to be a blessing to every person he puts in the path. And the joy that's come from knowing that mission, rather than saying, hey, I got to make another million, it just created a whole sense of joy of feeling I'm in step with what God would have me be. Why would anyone want to be a socialist to have all this free stuff when if you have an economy that you can earn your way? Envy used to be sin. Now it's embedded in the very fabric of our government where people are entitled to everything, and you're not going to be limited to what you can buy. You look at welfare. Well, welfare, you can't make $100,000 a year in welfare, but if you go out and work hard and get a job, you can become a foster freeze. And I'd love to have you join the family.
Don't take the bait, kids. Socialism sucks. Don't take the bait.
So this guy, Charlie Kirk, sees me in a stairwell wearing my deerskin jacket, and he tells me what he wants to do. I said, well, this guy's 18 years old, and he has this vision of what he wants to do. I like this guy. And if you look what Charlie, and not only him, but the people he's surrounded himself with, I mean, they're eager, they're excited, they're people that want to give and want to prosper and want to succeed. Well, what Turning Point means to me is these young people love America. Where people on the left, I don't think they really think about all this investment that soldiers and died and sailors that died and all these people that made our country what it is. But the Turning people, they get it. And I think the more we can encourage them and help them educate their fellow students, these people on the left, they're not necessarily stupid or evil. They're just very, very badly informed. Freedom, integrity, honesty, hard work. This is what Turning Point means to me. That means a great deal to me, that these people are willing out to fight the good fight. And we're going to back Turning Point right to the hilt. I mean, I'm sort of what people would call the American dream. I'm Foster Freeze, and that is my Only in America story.
Only in America can $800 turn into a beautiful ranch like this. Only in America can you blow up stuff on your own ranch's gun range. You know what's so awesome about this country? You get to eat what you just saw running around the field a few hours ago. This didn't have any GMOs. It didn't have anything. Just nice grass. Always be grateful for God's blessing in our lives. I represent, I believe, the American dream. A couple of ranches, some real estate, being able to give a couple $100 million away, according to the press, introduced as a billionaire. This is the American story. In Foster Freeze, I'm sticking with it. Sorry about that. Okay.
Yes, they start touting how, oh, well, actually Biden won bigger than we thought. No, that's not the message coming out of here. But let me tell you, it should not be political, and Paul's exactly right about that. But when you have one group of people that will cover up the windows, as I saw in Philadelphia, and will not allow anybody close to watch the counting of the ballots, that is political. That is wrong. And we ought to get laws passed in every state that require cameras. I mean, they're cheap enough now. Everybody's got them on their computers. They ought to be watching every vote being counted. And if people were not interested in cheating, they would be advocating for those cameras and the complete transparency instead of covering up the counting process. And one of the things that we're doing in Texas, and it's not elected officials, it's the Republican Party and its grassroots groups, they are training people so that this election and those going forward, the people that are going to be there poll watching are not just going to be watching, and when somebody like in Georgia says, oh, we got a leak, everybody's got to leave, these people will be trained enough and have lawyers trained enough that they will say, I'm not leaving here. You can't drag me out of here. Right. But I got a lawyer on the way who's got an injunction that will keep you from stopping the counting of the votes. We're driving forward. You're not bringing any suitcases of votes out from under tables while we're gone. We're staying, and we're going to see it through to the end.
Right, that's right. So one of the great things that was said that election integrity and reform is a bipartisan matter. And we see that with, apparently it looks like we have a victory in the U.S. Senate because we have a couple of senators who are not going to nuke the filibuster for them to get their voting rights legislation through, with Manchin and Sinema from Arizona. Both of them standing up, doing the right thing, and I think Manchin has been spot on this. It's not a Democrat or Republican thing for elections. If we cannot all get on the same page with elections, who knows, you might as well not even have an election because nobody's going to trust it, right? All right, so what can we do for the people out there to get more engaged now in terms of looking at whether it's their primary elections or pushing their state legislatures to prepare for the left damaging election integrity, trying to drag out those unlawful changes to election laws, usurping states' rights and so on. I think it's important that people think about right now, what can they do to put some political pressure on their representatives to really get engaged and get pushing on this fight now?
So it's really critical that you understand how this worked in the last election. For the 2 years before that, the leftists had an attorney that went around and filed lawsuits in more than 30 states to change election law. And those laws in some of those states remain in place. And they changed them through the courts and not through their elected representatives. So if you want to affect change, the first thing you got to do is you got to put a lot of pressure, as Kyle said, on your elected officials. They need to be awakened. They need to be ready and looking for this. The second thing you need to do is you need to make sure that your governor and your attorney general are there to defend your state's fair and transparent election laws and stop those lousy election laws that are coming from the left. I'll give you one quick example, and that is we had a lawsuit. Arizona has a voter registration deadline. That deadline was found to be constitutional. But the same court that said it was constitutional also extended that deadline and allowed 40,000 illegal people to register to vote. That cannot be. So you need to make sure you're involved, you're awake, you're watching, you're articulate, you're knowledgeable on the issue, and you are putting the pressure on your elected officials who will step in and say, no, we're not going to succumb to this kind of erosion of election fairness and transparency. That's how you do it. You start off, you got to be loud and proud as you fight this thing, and do it with a smile on your face. They hate that.
Right. And everybody makes it some daunting thing to contact your congressman or state representative. Trust me, even if you know how to use social media, you can get people's attention if you just point out that, hey, what are you going to do about election integrity? So also in terms of Arizona, Congressman Gosar, what do you see on the ground where you're at? Going into this next election, are people still having lingering concerns that their votes are going to be all counted appropriately in 2022? Are people still having any kind of fallout from what we all went through in the last election? Like, are they energetic and ready to go?
It's the number one issue that I see in rural America. I represented more rural districts, and they're obsessed with this. We have to start looking at the machines. Why is it that we don't have a machine that's made in America? The other thing is if there are unconstitutional law processes that were put in place because of COVID, they need to be rescinded.
Right.
And last but not least, what we need to do is we need to take on our county recorders to have them show us how a ballot moves through the process in that individual county. What it does is it puts to rest in your mind how they will track it, but it also puts them on notice that you're watching. That is the biggest key.
Right. There's no reason we can't have serial numbers or some kind of receipts where you could just check it yourself what they did with it, right? So, I mean, we have technology now, and we can use that for the benefit of transparency on our side and not more secretive practices like we saw in Maricopa County.
Well, then, and with the laws that are there for signatures, you've got to follow through. You can't have these whimsical 1 point out of 12 be counted good or no signature at all.
Right, exactly. Congressman Gomer, in Texas, like, what do you think can be done, you know, in terms of people making sure that they are staying engaged, involved on this issue, and you know, what more can they do in this process to really make sure that this is a lasting battle that we win?
Well, as grassroots folks know in Texas, and this may not have occurred to anybody, but it's called following the law. I love being at Turning Point events. They get my sarcasm. That's not true in Washington. Was he serious about it? No, thank you for having a sense of humor. But no, in Texas, our state constitution says we will have paper ballots that are sequentially numbered. How about following our Constitution? But you know what happened? I was a judge back at the time, and we got this unfunded mandate from Mount Olympus in Washington saying everybody's going to electronic voting. That was ridiculous. It caused a massive spending of money, and I said back at the time to the other judges, this means whoever's got the best hacker is going to start winning elections. How about if we go back? I mean, for heaven's sake, in 2005, I was in Iraq, and there were all these people going around with purple on their fingers because they were so serious about the integrity of their election that they would dip their finger in so that nobody could vote more than once. It stayed on for a couple of weeks, and they cared deeply. And a police chief was telling me they had one policeman in the long, long line of voters that was, he had a bomb. And a policeman detected it, and he ran and grabbed him and threw him to the ground, jumped on top of him, and they were both killed when the bomb went off. And I said, wow, I guess everybody scattered. And he said, he looked a little surprised I would say that. He said, no, people hadn't gotten to vote in a real election in so long. They knew if they got out of line and didn't vote, then that policeman died for nothing. So they stayed in line and they voted. Right. People have got to understand how important that right is. They're getting it around the world, and we got to bring America back to understanding that.
Right, and our brave men and women have given their lives for us to have free and fair and legitimate elections, and I think we all need to hold it as a sacred right and a duty to preserve that institution and make sure that everybody has faith and confidence in it. So going back to what you were saying about following the law, there seems to be a real breakdown in several states. They are attacking our election laws using the COVID pandemic. They've done that to justify or rationalize mass mail-in ballots at different varieties depending on the state. Ballot harvesting, Zuckerberg boxes, right? There's another private company that has no business in a democratic elections, right? So what can we do now to really, we need to reestablish the rule of law. I think for 2 years we've seen the left use crisis after crisis to justify removing the rule of law, and I think we all know where that heads. It's just nobody's going to be happy with the results in that case. So you guys are legislators. You have to work with the state executives and with the White House on occasion. Like, what can we do to rein them in? Is it going to be lawsuits? Is it going to be political activism or civil disobedience? Or what can we do to start putting pressure to say, no, we're serious. We want the election laws followed?
It's all of the above. It's an all hands on deck. You know, Louis and Paul are right, and Kyle, the most fundamental and most important right after the right of life is the right to vote and elect your representatives. Because everything, those laws that come out and impact your lives, they are a result of an election. That's really why we fight this. That's why it's so important to us. We know one thing is that when we talk about election integrity, 80% of Americans, it's only the hard left crazy wackos that don't want election integrity. What's number one? What everybody agrees to except for those 20%. It is that you should show an ID when you go to vote.
Right.
You should just show an ID. That should be the law. They tried to change that law across the country. Next thing we know is, what's the easiest way to cheat in an election? It's in mail-in ballots. So what did they do? They said, we're going to have mail-in ballots everywhere because of COVID. And now all of a sudden you got another problem of the Omicron, right? 10 months away to the next election, a year to the next election, and now that another COVID's coming, we're going to have to mail it in. We have to be vigilant and fight that in every way we possibly can. It's going to take litigation. It will take litigation. It will take public pressure on your elected officials. It will take us in Congress fighting to keep H.R. 1 and H.R. 4 from nationalizing the federal election. It will take all of that in order for us to get a fair and free election in 2022.
Right. Thank you, Congressman Biggs. And we can see the hypocrisy of this. Like someplace I know very well is New York City. You're free to boo if you want. They're willing to let illegal aliens vote in their elections while having vaccine passports, but not strictly enforcing voter IDs. So we don't even know. These people aren't even serious anymore, right? So Congressman Gosar, can you expand a little bit more about just political options, legal options, what avenues we have to make sure the election laws are actually followed?
Well, I think it comes down to there's some simple things that we can do legislatively. Watermarks and numbered ballots. A big, easy key. And if anybody brings up expense, you can do that for 25 cents. It's not a big deal, but very hard to change around. Remember, in rural America, we're subject to the Postal Service. So this doesn't go unseen. We have to have oversight of the Postal Service. My district saw a lot of this with mail-in ballots in 2018. Normally when mail-in ballots in Arizona come out, in the first 2 weeks, most of them are sent back. Well, in this particular year, they weren't in Mojave County, and the recorder had to go looking at the post offices. What did she find? They were stacked up in Las Vegas, in Henderson, instead of getting back to her. So we have to have that eye on the pathway, the chain of command of that ballot. It is crucial. It is key. And when you look at the Maricopa ballot, the thing you should be most angst about, of the 1,600 cases of ballots, only 48 were still sealed. That tells you people were playing with the ballots when they're opened up. That's what it alludes to. So we have to tighten up that chain of command. We have to make sure people are on record. We have to rescind laws that were never part of the process. And then we need to empower our legislature to get things done accordingly.
Thank you, Congressman Gosar. So, Congressman Gomer, what do you think would be some gold standard practices that would make election officials and integrity be as seamless and as reliable and as legitimate as possible in your mind, from your experience?
Well, one of the things we've seen in Texas, our biggest counties are Democrat controlled. And I know in rural districts like ours, if our county clerk said, you know what, this year I'm going to hire an outside firm that has been trained in all these different aspects of counting votes, we're going to have them come in and count votes, they would get defeated in the next election and would go, wait, no, we hired you to count the votes, not to bring in a firm that's Zuckerberg or whoever funded. We want the person we elected to be in charge of the votes. That's one thing, because that's where we've lost a lot of ground. And another thing, too, is, and I know there are a lot of Christians here, and one of the things that's driven me crazy, and I know some people say short trip, but it's driven me crazy since I've been in Congress, is when fellow Christians will say, Louis, I know you're concerned, but we don't have to worry. God's in control. And that I heard a preacher in Denton, Texas, named Tommy Nelson. He said, yeah, God's in control, but just because he's in control doesn't mean he wants you to lean on your shovel and pray for a hole. He gave you the tools, and he expects you to use the tools he's given you. And that's where we can make a difference. We let our county officials know this is what we expect you to do, not somebody you hand it off to. You do it, and we're going to be watching, and we're going to have people there watching, and they're going to be reporting, and we want cameras there seeing what you're doing at every step. Yeah, that's where we can ensure more integrity.
Thank you, Congressman Gomer.
Kyle.
Good answer. Go ahead, Congressman.
I think that the one ingredient missing is if you do the crime, you got to do the time. I mean, in Arizona, in Maricopa County, we had somebody wipe the server. They have to be charged. That's the key. You know, if somebody's not charged and they're not, and they're found to be in violation of the law, that's what's wrong with America today. Is there's two sets of laws, one for the high and mighty, and the one for the rest of us deplorables,
and one for those on January 6th. Yeah.
There's that too. Right, and so one of the things to get to what you've been touching on a lot, Congressman Gosar, is that the left has been using a lot of private companies and institutions as a way to block their activities, to shield us from accountability, to keep us from watching them, to keep us from checking the machines, right, and the routers and all of this. And we saw that in Maricopa County, and we also see that obviously with the mandates and all the crazy mandates in all these different states, right? So I think as conservatives, like, what can we do to either get these companies out of the democratic process or hold them more accountable? I mean, will it take legislation? Can we sue? Can we, like, what can we do to start getting these unaccountable ballot institutions that the Democrats have just stuck in the middle of our elections and said, look, here's our Trojan horse. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, what can we do?
Well, you haven't said anything.
Well, no, I'll just join. I know what Paul's going to say. I don't know what he's going to say. I never know what Paul's going to say, but what I would suggest is this. We saw that in Maricopa County. We did see that. We saw what you have to do to try to get transparency. And it took lawsuits. It took the legislature. It took the legislature having special committee hearings on it. It took them having special votes on this. It took the grassroots going out and actually collecting affidavits regarding.
That's a lot of you guys, and we thank you for taking this fight to Maricopa County and holding them accountable, because they were stubborn.
Yeah, so they had to go. So grassroots were going out and getting affidavits of indicia or evidence of fraud. It took all of that together, and even with that, we ended up litigating this thing over and over and over again, and finally. What you had is a bundle of information that 1,500 volunteers put together in your forensic audit. And now what? It goes right. It had to go to the state attorney general, and so the state attorney general, who has a small election integrity arm, he needs to be reminded. His team needs to be reminded.
Yeah, and he's on the ballot here in Arizona, and you guys know what you could do if you're happy with his action or inaction, right? So that's a good point.
Yeah, so the point is. It's an all-hands-on deck if you want free and fair elections, because maybe we were asleep, maybe we weren't, but the left has co-opted the most fundamental institution that we have, which is the franchise, which is elections.
Right. Very anti-democratic
So when you look at Microsoft actually invites people to try to hack in their machines. These machines do not. They forbid it. In fact, it's not the Maricopa County or county people looking at the information. It's the company executives. That's why Texas has decertified certain machines. North Carolina started asking questions. Who are your investors? Who owns this? You know, are there foreign countries that are involved? This is all plays part in that software. So we ought to make sure that that software has been dubbed and people tried to hack it, making sure it's clean and precise. Last but not least, we have to have reform on Section 230. Yes. It has to happen.
Amen.
You know, because there has to be liability extended to these big monolithic corporations.
Right. Great point about Section 230. We saw what happened to Donald Trump and several of his advisors, and that is rigging an election. That is another form of rigging an election, is muzzling candidates and making an uneven terrain for candidates. And big tech, Silicon Valley, their preferred candidates get the platform, but the ones that they don't like, they take it away. This is something that maybe you could talk to.
Yeah, and Andy and our own Judiciary Committee in the Section 230, the Democrats are going to protect it. But the thing is, it's got to be done, and I don't think it can be adequately reformed. But all of this social media was going, no, we're just a town square. So, you know, we shouldn't be able to be sued. I don't think you can reform Section 230 because they want this exception where they can do some censoring. I think it's got to be completely taken off the books. Just take it off. And in one of our hearings, one of the social media giants said, and he was being cute, he thought, he said, well, we just want to be treated like your Fox News. And I said, exactly. And when Fox News defrauds somebody or hurts somebody's constitutional rights, they can be sued, and I want you to as well. And when my friend Diamond and Silk said they paid extra money to have the algorithm take them up and have more exposure, and they used one that sent them to the bottom, I would call that fraud. I would say they ought to have a lawsuit against anybody that defrauds them. And you should too. That's the kind of reform we need. Get rid of it.
Right. And we saw with Facebook, they're so-called fact checkers. They're just editorialists as far as they're concerned, at least in court. Right? So one thing we could do is use the marketplace to our advantage, support, you know, Donald Trump's coming out with a new platform. We have Rumble. We have some great alternative platforms out there. And so we have choices, we have options, and like Congressman Boebert was saying, pick up a shovel, get out there, start digging. Hey, you're going to feel better when you take action. Talking is great. We've got some really great points that were brought up by these congressmen about what we can do. Now it's our job to go do it. So thank you for coming out.
And have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Fantastic people. Thank you, guys.
What up, AmericaFest? It's John Root, host of TPUSA Live and the Breakaway Podcast. I thought Bills Mafia, the Cameron Crazies, and the Raiders Black Hole were the wildest and best fans, but I think conservatives got them beat. If you're not involved with TPUSA yet, get off the sidelines and get in the game. Text "Get Involved," all one word, to 7-1776. You can start or join a chapter, learn about upcoming opportunities, and so much more. Text "Get Involved," once again, all one word, to 7-1776.
wants to mislead with a fake crisis to distract from the real crisis they created. And the teachers' unions and crazy school boards are destroying the classroom with racism. You can't do it. The man can't manage anything. The border was mismanaged into a full-blown crisis. The cities have been mismanaged. Crime wave everywhere. Quality of life gone. All these problems didn't have to happen. But the left made them happen, and Biden doesn't have a clue how to address any of them. Nobody trusts the media to tell them the truth. And every week the situation only gets worse.
Look good out here. Thanks for coming out. Do I have any confetti in the hair? How's the hair? Any confetti? We all right? All right. Thank you. I love you too. Merry Christmas. You guys look like you've been good little boys and girls. Not her, though. Definitely not her. I've been good. I've been very good. I'm on Santa's nice list. We had Waters World, the #1 show in the weekend, the 5. #2 show. Had the #1 book out, New York Times bestseller. Bought a beach house and had a baby boy this year. Jesse Jr. He's already in the 87th percentile for height. Damn proud daddy. So before I flew out here, Jesse Jr.'s 9 months, he peeled up out of the crib and said, Dad. He said, Dad, you could go out there and talk behind Joe Biden's back, but what's the point? That's Kamala's job. All right, I said, okay, Junior, well, what do you want me to talk about? He said, Dad, give him the secret sauce. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you guys the good stuff, the VIP treatment here, okay? Connections are everything. I know I shouldn't say that, but connections are really key. My mom got me an interview at Fox because she knew an ex-congressman who knew somebody. Now, I wasn't guaranteed the job. I had to ace the interview, which I did because I'm so articulate and humble. But I also knocked it out of the park because I dress well. Now, people say that showing up is half the battle. No, 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 no. Showing up well-dressed is half the battle. Key line, Deion Sanders. Have you guys heard the quote? Have you guys heard the quote? If you dress good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. If you play good, they pay good. The women know what I'm talking about. All right, so the first thing a woman looks at on a guy, they look at the shoes. Women look at the shoes. I think that's the first thing. For this purpose, this is the first thing. So guys, whatever you spend a lot of time on, you have to invest in. You spend a lot of time on your mattress, your car, and your shoes. So put your money where your mouth is, all right? So get a nice pair of shoes, get a tailor. Clothes have to fit right, all right? Just go to the store, try it on. Can't buy everything online. So not only do you have to look good, you can't overdo it. I had a candidate apply for a job to work for me, and the candidate sent me a glossy calendar of modeling shots. Very provocative poses. Seductively kind of kneeling by a body of water with the caption, "Guide me into your world, Waters." What did I do? Did I hire the candidate? I did. I hired the guy. He's a male model. Not Tucker. The guy was really handsome, but he was dumb as a rock. And after 4 months, we about to fire him. He caught wind we were about to can his ass, so he quit. And then before he left, he actually had the audacity to ask me for a recommendation. And he writes me a letter, and before he writes me a letter asking for a recommendation, he asked my assistant how to spell my name. He'd been working for Waters World for 4 months. He didn't know how to spell Waters. Just sound it out. Well, 2 T's. But it's about connections. It's how you look. You don't overdo it. But also, be aggressive. I did a speech at Turning Point a couple years ago. Some guy got my information, real stealth move. He said, Waters, can I do an interview with you in the green room? I said, no skin off my back. No problem. We knocked out the interview. Next Turning Point speech, we did it. Same guy. Asked me the same thing. Can we do an interview? I said, why not? Next thing I know, last month, I'm hosting for Tucker Carlson. I'm in my office prepping for the show. Same kid walks into my office. I said, what the hell are you doing here? He said, I work for Tucker now. I'm one of his producers. Well, I said, tonight you work for Waters, so give me the research and get the hell out of here. But it's true. I mean, one of these kids, like one of you guys, scrambling around with a little bit of microphone at a Turning Point event. Next thing you know, he's working for Tucker Carlson. Now, if you work for Tucker, you're a made man after 5 years. You work for anybody in this business at that high of a level, you can do anything after that. I had a guy work for the O'Reilly Factor for about 6 years, #1 show for about 20, and he left Fox, and now he gets paid $50,000 a month retainer for Starbucks. Now, what the hell does Starbucks pay this idiot $50,000 a month retainer for? I don't know. They basically pay this consultant because if they get bad headlines, they complain to this guy, and then he calls the press and says, guys, chill out. Do you guys want to get paid $50,000 a month to tell the press to chill out? Yeah, that's Hunter Biden money. Except my buddy didn't spend all the money on hookers and crack. He bought a mansion in New Jersey, 2 Mercedes, and he's got a little bit of a wine cellar. Do you guys want wine cellars? Damn right you do. So this is how you do it. Get a good job. Work for someone really big time, because other people big time want to hire other people that work for big time people, because they know they can handle the pressure and they know they can trust them. So you got to make your boss look good. Trust me. This ain't easy. I need a lot of help. And a lot of people you see out there doing really well, they have a lot of people behind them making them look really good. That's your job. You guys want to be hungry and obedient. You guys want to be like a dog. Okay? You just do whatever the person tells you to do. Not too much. You don't want to get Me Too'd. But like, you guys just want to do whatever it takes to make the boss look good. And at a certain point, you just got to chill and make things not awkward. Oh, I'm getting there. I had an assistant. We were shopping for assistants. Only 2 people applied to work for me. Kind of humbling. And Fox, first of all, called one of the candidates, and the guy was in Africa doing charitable work. And Fox was like, do you know who Jesse Waters is? And so we couldn't hire him. And the next person was Johnny. Johnny's my assistant. Now, Johnny strolled into my office during the interview. He walked right up to my desk, and his fly was down. I said, your fly's down. And it wasn't just a little down, it was all the way down. And Johnny didn't miss a beat, just went, zip. Hi, I'm Johnny, nice to meet you. I mean, that's the kind of attitude you want. Didn't miss a beat, didn't make it awkward. Guy was phenomenal. And he's got a great positive attitude, and we're all going to be working for Johnny one day. And we don't want to feel awkward, because when you guys feel awkward about yourselves, that makes us feel awkward. All right? We want the left to feel awkward. Right? You guys like James O'Keefe? Right. Now, James O'Keefe goes to people's homes and sticks mics in their face and makes them ashamed of themselves because they screwed up. So James O'Keefe makes people awkward, and that's what we want. I'm sick and tired of conservatives always playing defense, right?
It's time for us to go on offense. We have to make them play defense. We're always putting out fires. Stop, stop, stop. No. We need to go on offense. And this is how we're going to do that. I'm going to deputize all you guys to be little James O'Keefes, okay? And this is how we're going to get this done. Because you guys are in these college campuses. You guys are spread out all over the country. You guys have politicians flying in, officials flying in. You guys have to take advantage of that. Make a name for yourselves. All right, let's just say Fauci comes to town. All right? Let's pretend this podium's Fauci. It's about the same size. You got to ambush a guy like Fauci, okay? This is how you do these ambushes, like O'Keefe. You got to be respectful, because they'll turn the tables on you and you can't have it blow up in your face. So if you see Fauci out and about and you know he's coming to town, this is how you approach, okay? First, you identify yourself. You say, what's your name? What's your name? Edward what? Thompson. What school? What? I don't even know what you just said. My name's Thompson. I'm from da-da-da-da-da. Address it. Do you mind, Dr. Fauci, if I ask you a few questions? He's going to say no, but you were polite. So if he says, no, 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 not right now, you say, no, 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 we're going to address this right now. That's how you turn the tables, and you start it with an aggressive posture. Then you hit him with the first question. The first question can't be a yes or no question, because his answer can just be yes or no. You have to elicit. It has to be a how or a why. So what you do with Anthony Fauci is you say, Dr. Fauci, why did you lie? Okay? Why did you lie? I love that question. Hit him with, why did you lie when you said that you didn't fund gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab? Now, Fauci, he did. He funded it. So he's either going to deny it. He can't deny it because he's going to lie again. Or he's just going to speak gibberish. You let him talk. Get it on tape with your iPhone or your buddy's iPhone. I don't have time to get into the technicality of it. But you let him talk, and here's your follow-up. Now, there's a little trick of the trade. Keep a little document in your pocket, all right? This is the grant that funded the research. It's in your pocket. Now, you can print it out. It's on the internet. You know what it is. Or it's a blank sheet of paper. You hold the sheet of paper up for effect. You say, I have the grant right here, Dr. Fauci, and you wave it in his face. You wave that in his face for the camera, for flair. And then you read it to him, right? You say, you summarize. You say, it says right here, 2014, 800 grand. This is your agency. Why do you continue to lie, doctor? And you wave it. Now, that time, I mean, this guy's scrambling at this point. You have the goods. You have the goods. Because he's been able to dodge and weave on the ABC and NBC. No one's ever hit him in the face like this. Not even Rand Paul has been able to get in his face and point with the grant in his face. So then he's in trouble. Now you go in for the kill shot. The kill shot with an ambush, deadly. Because he doesn't see it coming. This is when you say, Dr. Fauci, you funded risky research at a sloppy Chinese lab. The same lab that sprung this pandemic on the world. You know why people don't trust you, don't you? Boom! He is dead. He is dead. He's done. Now, how you do that? 30 seconds. That's all you need. 30 seconds. Now, you get that footage to us. You get it to Fox. You get it to Human Events. You get it to Breitbart. You get it to Daily Caller. You get it through the Turning Point pipeline. Imagine Tucker Carlson teases out of the A block. Coming up. Brave college student confronts Lord Fauci at dinner. Exclusive footage, right back. Get us that.
That's what we want. That changes the whole conversation of the country. I've authorized it. Just make sure it's legal. Or someone like Liz Warren, okay? What do they call her? So let's say she does a Q&A at your college. Occasionally they expose themselves. They'll do a Q&A. Now Q&A, they're sitting ducks. Because you're a friendly questioner, right? All right. So you wait in line at the Q&A. And you have someone positioned with a camera. You can set this whole up. I'll tell you about it someday. So first question is your setup. You only need 2 questions for the Q&A kill shot. Is the setup and then the kill shot. So the setup question is super polite, super respectful. Senator Warren, speak loud, project, because remember we're using this on television. Senator Warren, how big of an issue is white privilege in America? She thinks it's a friendly question. And she'll drone on and on about white privilege, and you let her talk. And then when she's finished, here comes the follow-up. So, Senator Warren, if you believe in white privilege, then why did you steal an Indian's identity to get ahead professionally? Boom! Guys, she's done. All hell's going to break loose. They're probably going to grab you and like throw you off the stage or wherever you're asking the question from. But we got the tape. Hannity coming up. Pocahontas confronted at Dartmouth. And then you guys are little stars. We can trust you. You have a career path. Hey, aren't you the chick that confronted Pocahontas? Internships. You know? So that's what you want to do. You guys, and listen, not everybody has what it takes. Say you just want to be off the radar. You want to do it anonymously. There's tons of ways to do that. Where do you go to school? Boulder. That sounds like fun. But that's a perfect school to do this at. Because they're doing crazy stuff all the time, right? They'll probably have something posted in the library, right? They'll even post it up. It'll say, this is a safe space for illegal alien transgender witches. After 7 p.m., if you are not an undocumented transgender witch, you are not welcome in this safe space. Click, click. Send it to Charlie. Send it to Waters. Push it out on social media. That's a huge story. Then the trustees are going to get all pissed off. They're going to be like, what the hell are we doing at Boulder? This is a disgrace. And they'll crack down. They'll get rid of the safe space, transgender, illegal alien witch hour, and you guys can study. But it's like those little moments. You guys don't understand. It's like just a little piece of tape or a picture or an interview can change the whole country's conversation. And you guys are right now in the grassroots. You guys are in the trenches. And we need you guys to get some of this action up to a higher level to us. Like, for instance, who is this guy? He worked for, like, Rebel News. He was out shooting the Kenosha riot. And he went out and he captured, like, exclusive footage of the Rittenhouse action. And he was an eyewitness to it. And the footage and his testimony was so critical, they brought him to the trial, and he testified. And that trial, that testimony, that footage got Kyle acquitted. And that acquittal was such a turning point. See what I did, Charlie? It's such a turning point in this country because someone your age went to that riot and captured that footage. Now, I'm not telling you guys to go to riots. I would never do that. But there's a lot of action around your neck of the woods. You just got to capture it. And listen, it doesn't have to be college. You guys go home half the time, right? You guys are always on break. Always on break. You're like Congress. And you guys are home with mom and dad, and let's just say you're with mom at the grocery store and you see some Karen screaming about a mask. Roll on that. Waters World will lead that. I want that footage. So, listen, let's go. You guys are very, very important because this is an all-hands-on-deck situation. And it's not just the media. People come from all walks of life to get into this business. Who here, raise your hand or make some noise if you want to go to law school. Get out. I'm just playing around. I hate lawyers. Has nothing to do with my divorce. But I hate lawyers. They're the worst. And the left uses them viciously, right? The lawyers for the left are like the tip of the spear. They're constantly becoming prosecutors and throwing MAGA in prison. They're like overturning election law left and right. They're horrible people. We love Judge Jeanine. I'm getting there. But not all lawyers have to be vicious left-wing litigators. We can have our lawyers, right? We can have our lawyers, like a Judge Jeanine. She became a judge. She's fair and balanced, right? Fair and balanced, Judge Jeanine. But I'm saying we got to get people on our side, right? And it doesn't have to be a lawyer. Look at Dan Bongino. How much do we love Dan Bongino? So, Bongino was literally protecting Barack Obama's life one day. And then the next day, he's like tearing Obama's face off on the airwaves. How amazing is that? And now he's making a ton of money. He probably has 2 wine cellars. He doesn't drink. Thank God. If Dan Bongino drank, Geraldo would be dead. So they come from everywhere. I've been at Fox for a while. I knew people before they got to Fox. They were actresses. They were oil traders. You can go out and you can make a widget or a thingamajig, make $100 million. Be a donor. Charlie Kirk be calling you all day. If you can handle that. Be a donor. You guys can make a lot of moves as donors. Beat back some of these prosecutors, recall elections, petitions, all that stuff. Right? So, as I said, this is critical. We got to go on offense, can't sit back and go on defense. Hannity understands it. I was in Hannity's office a couple years ago, getting the Hannity talk. I needed it. And Hannity says, Waters, the key to success in this business is longevity. Don't say or do anything stupid that's going to destroy your brand and make you get out of Dodge before you're ready to leave. You want a long, nice, prosperous career. So then I talked to Geraldo. I said, Geraldo, you've had some longevity. Geraldo's like 89. I said, Geraldo, what's the secret to success in this business? He goes, Jesse, keep your hair and keep your waistline. But what I'm saying is, it's not just what's on the outside, what I'm talking about here. It's also what's on the inside. You got to take care of the inside. So guys, there's some wisdom. Who out here lifts? Not enough. You guys got to start lifting heavy. That's what it's all about as men. You guys have to start lifting heavy. You have to start lifting early. Now listen, I'm not going to be like cheesy about it. Look at me. I'm like a swimmer. That was my best sport. You think I can lift heavy? No. I lift as heavy as I can. But you got to lift heavy. You got to have strong bones. Live long. Stay healthy. And when you're not lifting, do some high intensity. Do some jumping jacks, some high knees. Break a sweat, guys. Let's go. All right? And when you're not doing that, do some conditioning. Do some boxing, a little running, swimming, whatever. Mix some sports in. Now, ladies, here's how the ladies need to stay in shape. You think I'm actually going to tell the ladies how to stay in shape? See, that's what Hannity told me to do. Don't say something stupid. But my wife, she's used to be a fit model, so she's doing all kinds of like leg raises and butt squeezes. It's crazy. I get out of a workout with my wife, the next day I'm walking like Joe Biden. I'm like, can't do it. But she does it. Also, you guys got to watch what you're putting in your mouths. Talking about ladies and men, your food is really important. This country wants to kill you. They're going to give you sugar. They're going to give you trans fats. They're going to load you up with all this nasty shit that's going to make you so unhealthy, you're going to have to pay all this money to healthcare providers to get knee replacements and all kinds of... This country is scamming you to keep you unhealthy, fat, so you just keep buying their crap and going to the doctor. Can't do it. All right? So you got to, all guys and all girls, when you eat meat, got to be grass-fed. I mean, it's got to be organic, got to be grass-fed. You know, people say I'm a metrosexual. I'm just evolved. And all the meat has to have the bone in it. All right? So it has to have bone-in ribeye, bone-in lamb chop, bone-in pork chop. Right? Chicken has to have the bone. You got to eat seafood. Got to eat shellfish. Lots of healthy, colorful salads. You guys know the drill. This is so easy. It tastes good. It tastes good, and it's good for you. So eat right, no sodas, drink a lot of water. It's really not that hard. Once you guys hit 40, all goes to hell. All right? Next thing important, this is really important. My mom says this. Sleep. Guys, sleep's so important. You guys got to get a good night's rest. Don't go to bed with the phone in your face unless you're watching Waters. All right? Read an hour before you go to bed. Makes you smarter, makes you interesting to talk to at a cocktail party. No one wants to hear any more about Bitcoin. So read something interesting. How I Saved the World. That's a good one. All right? Go to bed, and you have to wake up at 6 a.m. I knew that wasn't going to go over well. You guys have to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm not kidding. Successful people don't wake up at 8:30. You wake up at 5 a.m., you wake up at 6. You just kick the hell out of the morning. You wake up, you work out, you go walk your dog, you get outside, you send emails, you breathe, you meditate. Do whatever you need to do. But you already have a 3-hour head start on all these other chumps you're competing with. All right? So once you got that figured out, last thing is, you got to get stress out of your life. There's a lot of ways to do that. No jokes, but you could get a massage, you could get a facial, you could get your toes done, whatever that's called. You sit in a sauna for a while, have a few drinks, not too many. All right, well, maybe some, but blow off steam, breathe, yoga. Sometimes when I tell myself if I'm feeling a little stressed out, you know how you get a little tense? A little tense. I just go, everything's fine. It's fine. Everything is fine. And then you just relax and breathe. So this is just important wisdom, because if you guys are healthy, the country's healthy. If you got to save yourself so you save the country. We want a healthy population. You want a healthy country. That's how we do it. So I want you guys to go back for Christmas break or winter break, whatever they call it now. And I want you to cut loose with the family, you know, have some meat on a bone, go see your friends from high school. But when you guys get back second semester, I want you guys to explode, all right? I want you guys up early, working out, eating healthy, ambushing the bad guys, sending us the footage. All right? I want you guys to really start owning it, because you guys are already so ahead of the game being here at Turning Point. You guys have no idea how far ahead you guys already are. You should have seen me at this age. I was a mess. Now look at me. Hell yeah! You guys are working for me already. You don't even know it. So I know a lot of the stuff I talked about was centered towards dudes, you know, the lifting and all that stuff. But my wife wrote something down for me that she wanted me to share with the ladies. All right? She's only a couple years older than you anyway. This is what she said. She says, cherish your femininity, be genuine and pure,
Bring light to those around you. Know who you are and who you're meant to be. Approach everything with positivity. Take care of yourself as best you can. Be different, and don't try to control your man. I actually added that last line. I love you guys. Always remember one thing. I'm Waters, and this is my world. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Clark, host of Politics and the Spillover. I am so excited to be here with all of you today. Look, what Turning Point does for campuses around the country is so important, and it's only getting bigger. Here's some conservative. Coming January 2022, we are taking education to the next level with Turning Point Academy. This is major. Get your phone out right now and text Get Involved, all one word, to 7-1776 and get all the details on how you can join the fight. Again, text Get Involved, all one word, to 7-1776 to join the fight.
You have to ask the question, how is the most heavily funded tribe have the poorest population?
Listen to me. My country is very because everything problem here. Don't have petroleum for bus and Cuban, for car, for life, for nothing.
And it sucks. Socialism sucks. There's no other way you can describe it.
Hello, America Fest. This is Jack Posobiec once again, the host of Human Events Daily here on the Turning Point Live Network. Now, one of the main questions that I get every day is, Jack, how do I get involved? I want to be part of this fight for Western civilization, this fight for traditional values. What do I do? Well, the first thing I say is, are you married? The second thing I say is, are you going to the gym? But the third thing I say is, once you've done all of that and you still want to do more politically, it's simple. You've got to get involved with Turning Point USA. This is the organization that is leading the fight, leading the charge against the woke social justice left that is trying to take over our country. So what do? If you want to get involved, we actually have set up a brand new text message for this. You text Get Involved, all one word, to 7-1776. Get involved, all one word, to 7-1776, and a member of our team will reach out today. I'll see you out there.
How much does the earth cost? I'm gonna buy the entire earth.
What up, America Fest? It's John Root. You know, Turning Point USA wouldn't be where it's at today if it wasn't for your incredible support. Whether you're the boots on the ground at woke schools or standing up to cancel culture online, there's always a way to show your support. You can take our mission to the next level today by going to tpusa.com/donate. Because of you, we can put on parties like this, fight woke culture, and conserve American values for the future. What are you waiting for? Donate today.
What up, cute conservatives and dude conservatives? I'm Alex Clark, host of Politics and the Spillover. I am so excited to be here with all of you today. Look, what Turning Point does for campuses around the country is so important, and it's only getting bigger. Here's some conservative. Coming January 2022, we are taking education to the next level with Turning Point Academy. This is major. Get your phone out right now and text Get Involved, all one word, to 1776 and get all the details on how you can join the fight. Again, text Get Involved, all one word, to 1776 to join the fight.
Which was amazing. Let me tell you another piece of very good news. So, last year during the COVID season and just after the George Floyd riots, there was a coffee shop in San Diego that not only was forcing everyone to wear masks, you weren't able to be within like a 5-mile radius of this business without wearing a mask. And then right after George Floyd riots in the month of June, they actually said that they would not serve police officers for that entire month. But here's the thing. There was another coffee shop just down the road called the Coffee Co. in Escondido, California. The Coffee Co. said, you know what? Not only do we love our law enforcement, we love our veterans, those that protect our community, we would never ask you to wear a mask in our establishment. You have medical freedom here. And guess what? People drove 3 hours away just to get a cup of coffee at that coffee shop. And that coffee shop, along with hundreds of other businesses in our local community and across the state of California and soon to be the nation, are on Public Square in our marketplace. It's phenomenal. And they give you discounts to spend money in alignment with your values. I want to share with you one more story. There was a woman that reached out to our team about a month ago, and she said, you know, I was just let go from my employer because I refused the vaccination. I work in a medical clinic, and this was against every bit of my convictions. I could not do it. But I'm fired now, and I'm looking for work, and I'm on your app, and I see this marketplace, and I see this job board. Do you have anything for me? At the same time, there was a clinic just down the road from us that had been praying for over 9 months for a new associate to come on board, and they were about to give up because they just couldn't find the right fit. This person finds this clinic through the Public Square app, gives them a call. She was hired on the spot. It was phenomenal. We heard last week from someone that reached out and said she feels like she made 5,000 new friends in her local community, and they're able to speak their mind in a censor-free platform. So, Public Square, where all these good stories are taking place, we're an app and a website that connects freedom-loving Americans to all of your local community, businesses, resources that share your values. We'll also help you get equipped about what's going on in your local community. We tell all you, your city council members, school board members, which way they lean politically, how to hold them accountable. We want to give you local networking, local community in a safe, freedom-honoring way so that you can live your lives, spend your money, go about your daily lives with your friends and family in a way that supports your values. And I believe genuinely that we can create a national movement centered around freedom and liberty if we press in at the local community, lock arms with those that want to make a change with us, and just power forward. I'm really, really excited about that. I'm seeing good news on good news. We would love for you to be a part of the Public Square community. We've had an amazing launch in California. We're coming to the nation in early 2022. Head to the App Store or Google Play, type in Public SQ. You can download the app there, and we would love for you to join us on the journey. Friends, thank you so much. It's an honor to speak with you. God bless America.
Let's pivot to the ongoing outrage in Washington right now over Congresswoman Lauren Boebert.
Representative Boebert should be stripped of her committees.
Lauren Boebert, who proudly displayed her ignorance and bigotry.
Islamophobic, race-baiting, violence, inciting, white supremacists. Yes, yes, guns in the Zoom background lady.
Punish and sanction Boebert.
Crazy Boebert or Babbert or whatever her name is.
Extremists like the Lauren Boebert.
If anyone's dangerous, it's Lauren Boebert.
Boebert is a bigot.
Racist, Islamophobic,
fascist, insurrectionist,
complete lunatic,
nut job.
To disarm Americans. I will not be canceled. They have no winning issues to talk about. Either we have laws or we do not. So my colleagues from the other side, they can keep running their mouths and we will keep adding to our arsenal. This is the greatest nation this world has ever seen. Our rights don't come from politicians. They come from God Almighty. Stop pretending to be God, do your job, and protect the rights of the American people.
Me, but I'm not bowing down. I refuse to be bullied by people who hate our country. I refuse to back down and be silenced. Now, these same progressives tried to cancel me in Congress. They said, what should we do? Should we censure her? Should we strip her committee assignments? Well, Nancy Pelosi's leadership got together and they discussed that. And they said, actually, Madam Speaker, that will only empower Lauren Boebert if we try to cancel her. They aren't after me, folks. They're after you. They're after our children and our children's children. They are after our country. They can't control me in Congress, and they hate it because all they want is control. They want to dictate every aspect of your life. They want to control your education, what you learn, what you're taught, who you're taught to hate. This amazing country, they teach our children to hate it. They want to control your words, what you say, what you post. They want to monitor your medical decisions. They want to control your financial transactions. Yep, that's why we have 87,000 IRS bureaucrat bullies that they want to put in place. Don't worry, that bill's not going anywhere. They hate me because I share the message that they can't control me, and they certainly are not going to control you. The problem is, they've never seen someone who is so radically themselves. Authenticity seems to be banned in Washington, D.C. But they want to control everything, even down to the way you protect yourself. That is why I stand firm on the Second Amendment. Look, just since Thanksgiving alone, my office has received dozens of death threats. And it would be a shame to think that I would not have an equalizer against those threats. Just ask my new friend Kyle Rittenhouse, who's here this weekend. You have the right to self-defense. Even if you show up somewhere with a firearm, that right does not go away. The Second Amendment has nothing to do with hunting, and it has everything to do with self-preservation, and that includes protecting yourself against an overreaching, tyrannical government. And now I gotta give it to Kyle and his team, his legal counsel, because they didn't say, hey, look, we shot the guy, but we didn't pull the trigger. No. Kyle Rittenhouse did not Alec Baldwin that scenario like the prosecutor did with his poor trigger finger form, pointing a firearm at a room full of people without even clearing the chamber. Goodness. Guns don't kill people. Alec Baldwin's ignorance does. The attacks from the left have been full throttle. They aren't slowing down with the attacks because they have no good policy to run on. They have nothing that advances society, that promotes freedom, that inspires people in the United States of America. So they want to shred our Constitution. And the Second Amendment isn't the only thing under attack. It's your First Amendment as well. Your freedom of speech is absolutely under attack. On social media, in your colleges. It even affects the boldness in which you may or may not communicate. The freedom of religion has been under attack. In the name of a Fauci-funded Chinese virus, our churches were shut down. Christian values are absolutely under attack. And if you don't agree with their religious point of view, well, they'll sue you and try to cancel you. The freedom of the press. Oh, the press. Yeah, that's pretty much done away with. There's not much left there when we have the Hunter Biden laptop from hell story that just disappears. When you hear Jen Psaki saying that they are actively working with the press to fact check you, and then you hear that Facebook fact checkers, well, they're opinion based. The freedom to assembly. Well, maybe, just maybe, government will be kind enough to grant you this. If you're vaxxed and double vaxxed and triple boosted and N95, no, that's not how this works. The First Amendment, the freedom to assemble, does not have a medical asterisk by it. The proper role of government is not to keep you safe in your personal capacity. If so, I wouldn't allow you to drive here today. That could be pretty dangerous. The proper role of government is not to keep you healthy in your personal capacity. If it were, I would make sure you're taking your zinc and your vitamin D and your vitamin C, eating your greens. The proper role of government is to keep you free. And finally, the freedom to petition your government with your grievances has completely been taken away from you at nearly every level over the past couple of years. Nancy Pelosi has had the People's House shut down. She wants to run it as Pelosi's house. But don't worry, you can't bring your family in for a tour, but the lobbyists are sure walking the halls. They're there in Congress, but the building is not open to the public for you to freely walk in to the People's House. But hey, they have a plan, right? No, we've seen it. We've seen what happens when they have the White House, the House of Representatives, the Senate, one-party rule for 1 year. And what has that given us? Skyrocketing inflation, a supply chain crisis, an invasion at our southern border, unemployment crisis, and a horrible, shameful withdrawal from Afghanistan that left 13 of our service members dead, 7 children dead, 3 civilians dead, over $80 billion in United States military weaponry left behind. And worse than that, Americans left behind. A so-called commander-in-chief that takes orders from terrorists. This is why I have filed articles of impeachment for Joe Biden. Get him out! Get him out! Wait, y'all are gonna mess up my speech here. Y'all missed your cue. Don't worry. Diversity and inclusion are back in the bureaucracies. The adults are back in the room. Don't you worry. You know what? I think that there's a term for this. I think I just heard something like that. But for this failure of a so-called presidency, there is something that's unifying America each and every day. There's a little term that has gone completely viral, and you all know it far too well. There we go. You know, I was with President Trump there at Mar-a-Lago at his home in Florida, and we got that chant going, and the president looked around, and he said, you know, I like the first version better. When you look at all the crises, from the energy crisis that we're having, to begging OPEC for more oil instead of relying on the American roughneck, the shameful withdrawal from Afghanistan, the unemployment, the job crisis, all of these czars that aren't doing their job, the invasion, you kind of start to see why he likes the first version better. But here's what I like even better than that. There is a knowing right now, a conviction in millions of hearts all across America that it is going to take more than one man to fix this problem. It is going to take more than just one more piece of legislation to fix what's going on in our country. And we all know that we cannot just throw money at the problem and expect it to go away. I need you. And more than that, I need God in you. There is one man that came here for a solution, and Jesus has done everything that he's ever going to do. Jesus said, I'm going to my Father. And he gave all the authority to you. He said, behold, I give you all authority over all the power of the enemy and anything that would come against you, so that nothing shall by any means hurt you. So now I'm going to ask you today, we have thousands of people in this room. What are you doing with your God-given authority? What are you doing where he's positioned you? What are you speaking? What is the love that you are showing people? You have the answers on the inside of you. And I am tired of having godless people who hate America run this country. The most exceptional country this world has ever known. And it is time we take our positions, because I'm tired of having brother marrying violence inciting, Chinese spy simping, Parmesan smoking, gun grabbing, terrorist supporting, Israel hating, ooh, we just added a new one, child sniffing, commies, wreck this country. You and I are going to take this country back. We have God's grace. We have His empowerment, His ability, His influence. He has positioned you in a sphere of people that need to hear what you have to say. I didn't come here today to tell you how great I am and oh, how hard I had it and oh my goodness, I took a shot and did something. No, I came here to tell you that each and every one of us are called. We are not perfect, but no one's looking for perfect. The perfect has already come. Now more than ever, we need principled public servants who put people first, who will put America first, who aren't afraid of the mainstream media and the attacks and the lies. We can go down this list that you saw in the video of all the things that they say about me, but I just smile. I am not easily distressed. I love you too. That is not what defines me. Just like you, I was bought and paid for by the blood of Jesus at a high price. And I will not tread underfoot the blood that has rescued me to set me free, to reach in and get me from that captivity. This is why we love freedom. Not because we want to do whatever we want, whenever we want, and say whatever we want. Because a high price was paid for you to be free. Why would you go back to captivity? No longer will we be bound by the enemy, but we will live limitless. Now listen, I know y'all know how to get rowdy. I know you know how to cheer and chant and get excited, but I want to end a little differently. I want to pray with you all. Because that's what we need in America more than anything. And if you don't know Jesus as your Lord, as your Savior, I hope that there's a calling so deep inside of you that it keeps you up at night and you can't sleep. You can't eat. You can't think of anything about this man who is calling you. I hope you ask somebody about him. I hope it's me. If you find me in the hall and you don't know Jesus, come to me. Now listen, I didn't tell Charlie this is the way we were going, but this is how I feel led. This isn't in my notes. Those who are the true sons and daughters are led by the Spirit of God, and we're going to pray. Father God, I thank you. I thank you for the blood of Jesus that has purchased us, that has set us free. Jesus, I thank you that you came here as a man anointed by the Spirit of God to show us how to walk out this authority that's been given to us. You showed us what God had in mind all along when he created man, to walk in fellowship and in perfect union with man. Jesus, I thank you that you came to restore that relationship. You went to hell in our place, Jesus, but you didn't stay there. No, you took back the keys of the kingdom and you rose again. And you didn't leave us here alone, comfortless. Holy Spirit, I thank you that you are here hovering in this place, ministering to hearts and minds. Holy Spirit, I thank you that you are the part of the Godhead that is here talking with us and through us, living out Jesus on full display, Holy Ghost. I thank you for leading us, for guiding us, for consoling us and counseling us. Thank you for being our rear guard as we have the armor of salvation, the armor of God, that helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, the breastplate of righteousness, the belt of truth, that shield of faith that quenches the fiery darts that come our way, and the shoes of peace. But that is all forward-facing armor. Holy Ghost, it is your glory that has our back. You are our rear guard, and I thank that you grant each and every person in here boldness, great boldness and courage to go out and stretch forth your hands so that signs and wonders would be wrought in the name of Jesus. That everywhere they go, signs would follow and people would come to know you, God. God, we are sorry. Forgive us for our sins. Forgive us for the sin of abortion that is in our nation, God. I know the blood of those children cries out to you, God. Give us a way. Give us a way to protect them, Lord. Thank you for showing us what you have planned in America. Thank you for using us. You are just, and you're not going to go outside of what you've promised, God. You're going to use your people. You're going to use the body of Christ. And I thank you, Lord, for that. We give you glory. We give you honor, Lord. In Jesus' name, I pray a blessing over this group. Amen.